Hey, so this video is about why we suffer so much when things don't go our way that we end up acting selfish, in a bad mood, we withdraw from others, the suffering that we feel and the extent to which we feel it when things don't go our way cause us to not only be hurt within ourselves more than we need to, but also it causes us to push others away, withdraw from others, have conflict with others, be selfish, be in a bad mood, and things like that. And so that's a rough idea of what this video is about. Why does that happen? Does this need to happen? Can we be free from that? Can we be in a peaceful mood all the time? The answer is yes, but that's what this video is about, and I encourage you to listen to it with open ears and open mind. You don't have to believe everything I say, but come into it in a place of acceptance and not in a place of criticism. Don't come with your preconceived ideas of on these topics. Just listen. Your brain is smart enough to handle you just listening, and you can sort it out after. You don't have to, be with your pencil and be in this mode of is he right, is he wrong? I don't like that. Just listen to what I have to say. Listen from your heart. Just relax. And I think you will get something out of it. I think this video applies to everybody. Every human being goes through this when things don't go our way, whether they're big things, little things, like actual bad things or petty things. For some reason, why is it natural for us to become a different kind of person, a selfish person, a mean person, a grumpy person? You fill in the blanks. It looks different for all of us. Some of us withdraw from others. Some of us are mean to others. Some of us just have obsessive thoughts about why is this happening to me, and we're suffering it in ourselves. There's so many ways, and I really want you to fill in the blank. And even if you have to pause this video to do that, really ask yourself, what makes me just a different person? What makes me act like someone I don't want to be? What really changes my mood? And apply what I'm saying to your examples. And this is an important topic because imagine a world where people didn't act selfish or mean or withdraw from people or be passive aggressive if they didn't get things their way. I mean, this is why there's divorces. This is why there's dysfunction in the family. This is why people don't like their coworkers. Like all of these relational things are simply because all of the parties involved, or most of the parties involved, when they don't get their way and when something goes wrong that they don't like, they act childish, they act selfish, they take control and they overpower people in a way that's not cool. Like they just do things that hurt relationship, and so that's why there's a falling out, there's a breakup, there's things go wrong, or if the family stays together, that no one likes each other, but they love each other. Does it have to be this way? Why does this happen? And so that's why this video and this topic is important, and we should really think about it. We should really want to know that we should be asking these questions. We should be talking about it with our friends and family. Like, what do you think? And answers might pop up, but we should really think about this because this is a pretty big issue. If we can fix this problem, I think we're going to be in a pretty good place. You know what I mean? Like we'll be pretty good. So the real issue is, and it's all connected, and I'm going to talk about a few things, but the real issue is not that we do selfish things. That's part of it, and we'll talk about that. But the real issue is that a lot of these things bother us, and maybe they don't have to. And that's the question I really want to go down to. I really want to get to that point because I really believe that's part of the root issue is why do these things bother us? Why does it really bother me when things, why? Does it have to be that way? And I want to say, so that's what this video is about. Okay, a little ramble there about what the video is about. What I want to say though is what the video is not about. Okay, I really believe you're going to hear something fresh, a new idea, unless you're really in tune with my perspective on the topics, which there are some of you out there that are. But I want to say this video is not about, willpower. I'm not going to give you some willpower thing or tell you to just deal with it or fake it till you make it. That is one approach people take to their selfishness or their that suffering they feel when things don't go their way, is they just ignore it and just whatever. And that's not a bad approach. It's a more mature approach, and so keep doing that if that's what you're doing. But is it possible to, like I said before, is it even possible to live in a way and be in a way where you don't even have to fake it? You don't even have to make yourself be nice. You don't have to overcome selfishness, or when I grew up in the church and they said you got to overcome the flesh or overcome the devil. You don't have to do that either. It's just you can be in a way where it's just natural for you to, if there's no more free candy left, well that's okay. It doesn't bother you. You're not you move on, and bigger things too. So this video is not going to give you something like that. This video is really about, can we transform our suffering? Can we live in a way where things don't bother us, or things don't bother us as much as they do? You'll take it how you will. But that's what this video is about. So before I get started, I want to talk a little bit just about me, just so you know who I am. I just started this channel, so I'll be doing that for a few of the first videos. So my name is Jesse. I am the founder of Humans Are Divine. We're a meditation center, you could say, for lack of a better term. But really, I'm just me. I'm just this person who, I have a podcast about spirituality, but from like a regular perspective, not like conservative religion, not the weird, woo-woo stuff. Nothing wrong with those people, but just regular people who do spiritual things like meditate or other things that like really help us live our regular life. I have a blog. I have, this YouTube channel. I have a lot of stuff on social media at Humans Are Divine. I have a Patreon page if you want, more personal mentoring and exclusive content. You really want to get into this, what I have to say right away and really just dive deep. We have that as well, which I encourage. So that's what I do. I really don't have a passion to be, like a traveling speaker or to write a book. I'm sure some of those things might happen. I think it just comes with the program, but that's not really what I want. What I really want to do is I really just want to work with people one-on-one. I love to do that. In a previous life, I was a senior sales manager for a major corporation. So I love to just work with people. I love to teach people things. I love for people to get it and to apply things and have their lives changed. And everything that I teach, I've practiced, and it's worked for me. And everything that I teach, I've also studied, and it's the actual way that the Buddhists do it, and the Christian mystics do it, not the evangelical conservative Christians. God bless them, but that's not my style. I'm not really into that. But Christianity does have the mystics who are just kind of like the Buddhist monks, and all of these people have done certain practices and looked at the world a certain way that has actually made them free, made them happy, and made them good. And so I've done what they've said. It works. It's true. There's no exaggeration. This isn't just a sales pitch. Well, it's not a sales pitch, It's just me telling my story, and I want to help people. And so that is kind of what I am about. So you got all the links down there, a couple of them down there. So yeah, so let's talk about suffering. I'm going to talk a little bit about it from a Buddhist perspective, but don't let that turn you off if you're not into Buddhism. In Buddhism, the first sermon or the first talk that Buddha gave was about the four noble truths, or the four holy truths, or the four important truths. Like, these are the things that are important to life. Like, he really got down into it. And so, I don't really see Buddhism as a religion. A lot of people don't. It really just is about life. So I encourage you, if you're scared of listening to me right now, or listening to a Buddhist thing, it's not going to make you not believe in whatever you want to believe in. You can keep believing or not believing in whatever, whether you're Christian or atheist or Hindu or whatever you are, Muslim, whatever. You can learn from Buddhism and not become a Buddhist or not leave your thing. Okay, so number one, he talked about our suffering. Number two, he talked about why we suffer. Number three, he talked about the end of our suffering. So that's what we want to get to. Everyone thinks Buddhism is about suffering and just accept it. No, let's get to the end of our suffering. we can transform our suffering. And then number four, oh, there we go. Number four is about a lifestyle that we can partake of that keeps us free from suffering. But it's not this like religious thing. It's not this, it's just practical stuff like, right view, how you see the world, right livelihood, how are you making your money? Are you robbing people? Are you a criminal to make money? Probably not a good idea for you to be happy, and right. So it's just stuff like that that helps you not suffer and helps you not spread suffering. So he would always, before he became the Buddha, one of the things that he realized that really hit him home, that he kind of faced, that we need to face, is old age, its sickness, and its death. And these are pretty big topics. These are things that we want to distract ourselves from. We don't want to talk about it, but we should, because it's coming. And it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It might sound negative in the beginning, but you know what? Like I said, there's suffering. Let's face our suffering, the reality of suffering. So in the Greek language, the word for truth in the Greek is the word for reality, because what's true is what is, right? That's the truth. So if we face our suffering, maybe we can figure out why we suffer, and then let's end our suffering, and then let's be on a path that keeps us free from suffering. So and 3 and 4 go hand in hand. So yeah, sure, I'm going to bring up a tough topic, suffering, but the idea is so that we can transform our suffering. Because even if we don't talk about it, you're dealing with it every day. Like I talked about, divorces, family dysfunction, freaking no one getting along in the world. What's up with that? Like, why is that happening? Well, if we don't deal with our suffering as a people, as a human species, then we're never going to get to number 3. So if we want to get to number 3, if we want to start getting to the end of our suffering, it won't happen overnight, but it can happen little by little by little by little by little, and you make progress, and it's real, and it's not as hard as you think. If we get there, then we're going to be happy, and we're all going to get along, whoever wants to participate. So that's what we want to get to, but we can't get to 3 unless we talk about 1, suffering. So, old age. It's going to happen. We're going to get old. This is why people have midlife crises, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. It's a scary thing. We're gonna lose our youth. We're not gonna look as good as we looked before. I mean, I'm 31 and I'm already starting to realize that, right? I mean, like things like old age is scary, and a lot of us find pleasure and safety and acceptance in how we look, and so we, old age scares us. Okay, that's why we, So, but does it have to? Does it have to scare us? What about sickness? Scares us. I mean, if any of us were to find out that maybe we got in an accident and now there's a handicap involved in our life, or the doctor told us we have a lifelong illness or something crazy, a lot of us, most of us, that would really crush us on the inside. We would, for lack of a better term, we would throw an adult tantrum. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I'm just trying to describe what we would do. It would just scream in the pillow. Why is this why, why God, why, why is this happening to me? It just hurts us. And look, I'm not saying that sickness doesn't suck. This is not some, not some pretend thing, like, oh, everything's okay. Like, no, things suck, right? Sickness sucks. But does it have to hurt us the way it does? And does it have to make us more isolated people? And then, of course, we have death. We're all going to die one day. Tomorrow is not promised. Scary thoughts, but it's true. And even if we know we're going to make it for another, I don't know, whatever, 50, 80 years, I mean, then what? That's scary to be on it's scary to face death. It's just you. You don't have the roles that you wear and the success that you wear, and no one's looking up to you anymore. It's just you are going to die. Does that have to scare us? Does that have to make us feel like, oh man, crap, what am I going to do? Oh my God. And what about... So those are the 3 things that Buddha really thought about, and those are important. But what about everything else that bothers us? All the things, like I said, that bother us if things don't go our way, whether they're little or they're big or in between. And maybe you're thinking, well, little things don't bother me. But sure, there's something that when things happen, we don't like it. A lot of us have built our life, and we've built our life in our comfort zone. We're good where we're at, and if something were to radically change, a job change, you had to move to some other state, I don't know, for family, I don't know, if something were to dramatically change, it would really really bother us. And again, I'm not saying don't live your life, do what you want. I don't go asking around for suffering, not at all. If I can avoid suffering, I will avoid it. If I can have my way, I'm going to have my way. Why not? Why would I choose something else? Unless it's to help somebody or something, right? But life always gives us things that are not our choice. And so why does that hurt us? And does it have to hurt us? Does it have to bother us? Do I have to be bothered if I really wanted these concert tickets? I like to go to concerts. I got my band shirt, right? So if I really wanted this concert ticket and it's sold out, okay, that sucks. But do I have to? One time I was at a concert. It was a System of a Down concert. All right, one of my favorite bands. Okay, and I don't know what happened. It does suck, but somehow there was this couple, this guy and this girl, and like she and their friend or something, and like I think she lost the tickets. I don't know in this age with the phones how you can lose tickets, but I think she lost the tickets. And the boyfriend was like furious. I'm sure they paid good money for him, but again, he was furious and he was just like letting her have it and being really mean to her and in front of everybody. It doesn't matter regardless, but and I mean, listen, I understand why that sucks. I'm not out of touch with things. Okay, I can understand that, but he was just acting like a child. He really was, and and that's a great example of things not going our way and how we respond. He responded that way because something in him just really hurt. It hurt. It's like if somebody was like, I don't know, like really, really hurting him. And so that's how he let it out, right? But does it have to hurt? And maybe he could have been a good guy, which he should have been. And he should have just like, okay, hey, what can we do? Let's move on. But maybe still something in him's like, oh man, like that, does that have to happen? No. And I realize I keep repeating myself and asking these questions, but a good teacher repeats himself. Hopefully it'll stick in your head and you'll be asking yourself these questions after the video. So that's what I want to talk about. And before I go into, that's enough of the problem. Before I get into the solution though, I do just want to tell a little bit about my story. Maybe you'll resonate with that in some way or another. So, like a lot of people in America, I grew up in Christianity, and I'm not here to be anti-Christian. I'm just telling my story, and I saw a lot of I saw a lot of selfishness in the household, in the church, in church leadership. The same thing that we're talking about. I saw it from the inside. My parents were really involved in church, so I was always there in leadership, and I saw everything. Right? People are just crazy. People are crazy. whether it's gossiping or just being mean to people, like it's some sort of like social group, or stealing congregants from other church. It's just silly stuff. And again, all of that happening because I guarantee you, those people that were doing those selfish, mean things, something in them, it really hurt. Oh, I'm not getting my way. I'm not getting what I want. A lot of people in church want praise and acceptance. Look at me. I did all of the, I pinned the tail on the donkey. Give me my prize, accept me, love me. A lot of people in church are like that. They're using this spiritual stuff to gain acceptance. So it really bothers them when they don't get that, right? So that's what I saw. And sure, there are some good Christians who are like, no, that's not how we should be. That's not the way it is. And that's great, and God bless them. But the answers that I got from my experience, and again, growing up in this till I was 18, of course, in my teen years, I wasn't really too involved, unless I had to be. They made me. But then, from 18 to like 24, I was like my own person, like really into it. Like, I used to be a Christian minister, believe it or not. Those were the old days, but yeah, so I know the message, okay, and so the answers that they gave were not really good, okay. It was either A, like I said before, you just don't do that. That's just, God says not to do that. If you act selfish, you're gonna get in trouble, and if you don't, you're gonna get rewarded, right? You're gonna get something. So a lot of people, like, when things don't go their way, they still hate it, but they like bite the bullet and they just like kind of fake it, And I'm sure some people genuinely somehow changed. I don't know. I can't say I really know too many of those. Okay, I can't even name one or two, but I'm sure they're out there. But as in general, no. Okay, so that is not the answer I'm giving you, and that wasn't a good enough answer for me. Other things that I heard and that I even taught was, just see yourself as this like really great person, this really nice person, this really holy person, kind of like this like faith, law of attraction kind of stuff. And there's some truth in that. There's some truth in how you see yourself is how you're going to be. I don't buy into everything, but okay, I understand that. Obviously, if you're focused on something, it's going to go in that direction. I even used to see that in the business world. I would focus on a project, whatever we focused on, whatever metric we focused on, we ended up getting success in that. Why? Where you focus, things happen. So sure, there's some truth in that. Was it enough? Wasn't good enough. Okay, and I look back on myself in those years, and I'm saying all of this stuff. I'm saying you can be good, you can not be selfish, you can be holy. Again, a little bit of results, but not really. I look back, and I was still selfish and unaware of how I was selfish. I wasn't really connecting with people on a genuine level, and I just wasn't just a good human. I mean, maybe I was a good human. I don't know, but I wasn't like what I'm talking about. I wasn't the kind of person where nothing could bother me. Okay? I would get irritable. You get annoyed at people after being around them for so long. Like, oh, shut up. All of these things that we just think are normal. That's how I was. And now I'm not like that. Now it's, listen, wherever I'm at, it's all going to be okay. Of course, if I have the choice, I'm going to put myself in a nice place, a nice situation. But that's not life. Life, try, and that's good, and you'll have good moments, but life is ebb and flow, ebb and flow. And so now when I have bad moments, it's okay, it's all good. But before, just like anybody else, I would get that way. So, it seems like the church doesn't really have the answer. And this is not just my story. I talk to people all the time who have left the church or they're still in the church and they still deal with the same, crap. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, like they just accept it. This is just the way it is, like, and one day, I don't know, whatever. So that didn't help me. No one taught me why we suffer. Why does it hurt when we don't get our way? Why does it hurt when things go wrong? Why? We don't talk about that. We don't. It's in the church. And so that's why I really appreciate Buddhism. I really, really do, because it's not about religion. It's not about this or that or spiritual stuff. It's just about why we do what we do. So that's kind of where I'm coming from and a little bit of my history. Maybe you can resonate. So let's get down to the good stuff. Okay? So I want you to imagine like yourself, so like me, okay, you see me, and inside of me, in my heart will say, there's this like little inner Jesse, okay? Because my name's Jesse. I think I said that. So there's this little inner guy, this little inner person, okay? That person is good. That person partakes of what we call Buddha nature. He's a little Buddha, okay? And it doesn't have to be again, when we hear the word Buddha, automatically we pigeonhole that term, and no, anyways, just this little person. Hey, I'm Jesse. And Jesse, the inside Jesse's good. He's innocent, he's pure, he's compassion, he's aware, he's just open and alive, and he's great. He's not the problem. You're not the problem. You are not a bad person. You're not a selfish person. You're not, oh, it's just human nature. We're just bad people. That's just human nature. We got to fight. No, you are good. You are good. You are good on the inside. The inner you is good. The inner you likes to get along with people. The inner you doesn't like when people break up or there's conflict. The inner you is like good. So what's the issue? Well, the inner you is good, but sometimes the inner you is confused or just has these weird, strange habits, or gets tricked. Okay, so let me explain what I mean. So there's this inner you, and there's this whole world around the inner you, this whole environment. Think of something like the movie Inception. That movie really tripped me out because it really opened my eyes, like, wow, like my consciousness and my subconsciousness, my inner me, there's a whole world in there, a whole universe, galaxies, So in this world, there's thoughts that come and go, there's emotions that arise and descend, there's daydreams, imaginations, feelings, desires, everything and anything. Okay, internal activity, your inner world. So there's the inner you, right? Hi, I'm the inner me. And then there's the inner world. They're two different things. They're connected, and there's a continuity. And you're all you and the inner world are all one thing, but there's distinction to be made. Okay, so there's the inner you and the inner world. So what happens is I'm going to give you an answer, and it really is the answer. It's like the basic answer. I'm not going to get into like wounds and trauma and things like that. There's videos out there about that, and there's good stuff out there, and we should definitely learn about those things. Okay, but just whether it's a really big traumatic wound, like a big thing, or whether it's little things or things in between, all of these things are in our inner world. And what happens is the little inner self, for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into why. I just want to get into how to fix it. But the inner self, what happens is when, let's say that, okay, so I'll tell on myself, okay? So another video of mine, which I encourage you to watch, was about how I got free from my love and sex addiction. That was me suffering. That was me. For me, I was totally scared of being alone. I was totally fearful of not finding my soulmate. And so if I thought I found my soulmate, which I thought so many times, so it must not be true, right? So if I thought I found my soulmate, and I would like project that onto somebody, and if I thought, so here we go. Here's the example. Let's say that like I'm dating somebody and I'm really into them, right? Okay, so which isn't good. Go watch the video. So let's say that they send me a text that can easily be misconstrued, or maybe they're busy for the day and they like me a lot, they love me, but they don't have time to text me because they're dealing with some stuff. And so what happens? So let's say there's the inner me, and then this thought comes by, maybe, and it comes with a feeling of fear, and the thought says, that person doesn't love you anymore. They don't like you. They're ignoring you. And so the inner me, listen, there's nothing wrong with that thought that came. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Who cares? It's something that's coming and going. As I walk around, physically, when I walk around and I see birds in the air and chipmunks walking around and people walking by, so what? That's just my environment. I don't get so caught up in my environment. But we do get caught up in our inner environment. So again, that thought comes by. And what happens is, who knows when it started? I don't know. Maybe I was a little kid. I don't know. But what happens is the inner me, who's pure and good, who will always be pure and good, the inner me grasps onto that thought and grabs the thought and gets obsessed with it. Imagine a thought like a floating TV. And the TV is just floating by, and it's going to keep floating by. Thoughts come, thoughts go. If you don't believe me, go meditate and just watch your thoughts. You're going to notice them come and go, arise and descend. All of this internal world. Okay, so when the TV goes by, that's a thought. You can let it go by, and you can recognize, oh yeah, this thought went through my head that maybe they don't like me anymore, whatever. But instead, what we do is we grab the TV, the thought's going by, and we grab the TV and we go, oh my God, yeah. And then we add commentary to the thought. We get so absorbed in this line of thinking, and we get obsessed a little bit, whether it's mildly or greatly, and we get into this, and now it's like in our head on display all day, on repeat all day. And we're just thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And the inner you by itself, the inner you is good, but now the inner you has jumped on this magic carpet, and it's just going everywhere and going in circles. It's on this crazy ride, this like carnival ride. And that's just one example of something that we do. And we do it all the time with all sorts of things in our internal world that are happening. We grab them and we hold on to them, and we look at them, and we grab another one and we look at them, and that is all that we do. And so for example, in this example, I suffered not because the thought came and went. I suffered because, whether I realize it or not, and it's become so natural for us that we just subconsciously do it. But what happens is I grab onto the thing, and that's why I suffer. because I'm paying attention to this thought of suffering, we can say. Let's say that the person ends up breaking up with me. Again, that sucks. It's okay to admit that. It's okay to say, well, that's not what I have wanted. And you're probably going to feel a little bit of like a little grief, because a breakup is kind of like a death. Like, oh, I'm going to miss them. Wow, we had good moments. Oh my God. Grief is a good thing. Grief, like when you're crying and you think of the great moments, the video montage of all, that's fine. That's normal, and I think a lot of us understand that, and we can. It hurts, but not in a way that like it's like the other kind of suffering I'm talking about. We can go and hug somebody and just be close to those who love us, and we get through it. We heal. But sometimes to our grief we add all of these things, and really it's not that we add them. Like I said, it's that these thoughts come and we grab onto them, and that's the adding. So let's say she broke up with me, this person, and okay, it sucks, but I'm going to be okay. The little inner me, the little Buddha Jesse's always going to be okay. I'll find somebody else. That's life. But instead, a thought will come by, oh, she was the one, or oh, this, or no, or whatever, or an emotion or a desire for that person. Anything that goes on in your inner world, whether it's audio, like a thought, or like a video, like a daydream, or like an emotional feeling, like like you just feel icky, or you just feel weird or not good. All of that stuff are things that we either are going to grasp onto or not grasp onto. It's that simple. Now it's now it's not easier said than done, but because I don't want to discourage people from thinking they can apply this. Like, you can do it, but yeah, it takes practice, and you gotta work on it. But once you work on it, like any skill, you get good at it, and it's natural for you. So for me, it's like I had to work on my love and sex addiction. And I had to continually watch myself. You have to babysit the inner you. Hey, inner me, I'm going to take care of you today. I'm going to make sure you don't start going crazy again. And so as you go throughout your day, you've got your eye on your inner you, just like if you were babysitting your child or you got a dog or something, right? You want to make sure your inner you doesn't go crazy. And it's not this like full-time, like you zone out the world and you're watching yourself. Okay, maybe you can do that in meditation. I don't know if I would say it that way, but it's just, again, just like babysitting the child. You have peripheral vision. It's like you live your life, but you're still aware of what's going on with your child. You have to be aware of what's going on the inside with the inner you. Because if you're not paying attention, that inner you is going to keep grabbing on stuff. But if you pay attention, you can keep keeping your inner you in check. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I know it sounds like that's it, but that is it. That is why we act selfish when we don't get our way. That's why we get grumpy. That's why we're mean to people. We're passive aggressive. That's why when we don't get our way, we want to do something. Or we withdraw and we just shut out the world, and which is just as negative, because the world needs you. And you need the world. You're missing out on great connection. But that is the problem. It simply is that these things go through us in our internal world, and we grab onto them. And when we don't do that, things work out. And this is not something that I'm just like talking about. This isn't something that I've studied and like, okay, like I got all the information to do the YouTube video. This is something that I have lived. Specifically what I'm talking about for the past 6 years. And I've gotten free from jealousy, from anger, from a love and sex addiction, from selfishness, from irritability. Yeah, there's some people I probably wouldn't hang out with if it's my choice. But if I'm stuck in a room with somebody, I'm going to make the best of it. And I promise you, they wouldn't bother me. Because the bothering is not me, the inner me. The bothering is the thought or whatever, and I just grab onto it. Then I become one with the bothering, but I don't have to be bothered. So there's so much more to be said. So I encourage you to check out my links, connect with me. I want to connect with. If you want to connect with me, I want to connect with you. If you want to talk, if you want to argue with me, don't bother talking to me. I don't want to argue with anybody. But if you want to talk to me, that's great. Go to my links, get connected. And because there's a lot more to be said, of course, and I can't be here all day. But what I said was really, if I can say so myself, it was really good. But it's not really good because I came up with it. It's really good because Buddha came up with it, and even The first Christian monks, they would move out to the desert. They would talk about this stuff. They would talk about psychology. They would talk about being aware of yourself so that you don't do this stupid crap that we do that I'm saying. It's everywhere. So connect with me. Let's keep the conversation going. But I also want to say that, now that you heard this, you have a choice to make. Because I'm telling you from experience and from these ancient traditions, which are not Buddhism. Buddhism's a big deal. It's not for a reason. It's not just whatever. They figured something out. And I'm sure everybody's not applying it the way they should or living it, but it's out there. You don't have to be selfish ever again. You don't have to suffer when things go your way. When things don't go your way, you don't have to feel that, but what about me? You don't have to feel that. You don't. You do not. Again, it won't happen overnight. It could. There's some stories about people like that, some legendary stories. I don't know. But probably not. But that's okay. You got to start somewhere. Because if you don't start, the longer you wait to start, the longer it's going to take for you to get to your goal. And I want to give you the confidence right now and the assurance. I want you to feel like you can do this, because you can. You can end your internal suffering bit by bit, piece by piece. And there's like a snowball effect that happens. And it's awesome. And also I want to say, which is very important, I think a lot of people think it's really hard. Or they think it's like this whole new thing. Like, listen, I got enough on my plate. I got a family and a job and these responsibilities. And now you want me to do this Buddhist meditation stuff or whatever. This prayer stuff or whatever you want to call it. No, there again, I can't talk all day, but if so for example, if you were to work with me, I know I can make it work for you in your life where it's not like a whole new thing. And you don't have to work with me. I just want to make it clear that it doesn't have to be this whole new responsibility. You can definitely apply these principles as you live your life and be changed. And you can be the kind of person that's always cool, calm, collected. Hey, we gotta wait, okay, whatever. It's all good. Because when you don't grasp onto all of these things, your inner self is very good at finding the best in everything. Very good at, and sometimes it takes time or it's gradual or there's ups and downs with that. But your inner self by itself is wonderful. It's really, really wonderful. The problem is the grasping. So I think that's all I have to say. You don't have to suffer like that. And again, take it in the degrees that you want. Okay, even if you feel like you're still going to suffer a little bit, okay, well then at least suffer a little bit versus a lot. However you want to take what I'm saying, take it that way. And I will see you guys at the next video. Thanks for listening.